Hello, everybody, and welcome into another virtual Trojan Talk. It's brought to you by Mama Goldberg's on the Square in Troy and by Santa Fe Cattle Company on Highway 231 in Troy. We're excited about this one. My name is Barry McKnight. I am here at home broadcasting. Coach Chip Lindsey is here with us. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Barry?
Doing real well. I know you're proud to have, this is really special, proud to have 5 of your guys in from all over Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Junior linebacker Carlton Marshall from Mobile. Junior defensive tackle Will Choloh joins us from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Senior running back B.J. Smith from Millbrook. Senior offensive lineman Dylan Bradshaw, who joins us from down in Enterprise. And from down in Gainesville, Florida, junior wide receiver Luke Whittemore. Fellas, this is great to have you here with us. And we'll start off first with Coach Lindsey. Here we are in, mid-May now. Final exams have concluded, have wrapped up. Spring semester has wrapped up, and now we get into an uncertain summer. What's the outlook? What's the perspective here from your perch?
Well, it's probably too early to tell right now. It is good to see these guys. I haven't seen them in a while in person, for sure, face-to-face, some of them. So glad they all look good, and it gets me excited about getting them back here, hopefully. I think it's, hopefully this maybe early June, maybe we can get these guys back on campus, get them in some kind of routine. This summer is truly going to be like no other we've ever been through, for sure. And but I know just talking to our team, different guys here and there, I know they're really chomping at the bit to get back and get going. And as soon as they give us the okay, we'll be ready to roll.
We got a lot of media members who are here. They and you, the general public, the Trojan Nation. If you're on and watching it on your Zoom app right now, at the bottom there's a tab, there's a button that gives you a group chat option. You can type in your questions for Coach or for any of our players here, and we'll try to get them addressed during the course of our broadcast. But let's start off. Let's go first to Millbrook and B.J. Smith, senior running back. B.J., I know a lot of fans are certainly glad to see your face again and are wondering how you doing.
I'm doing good. I'm here, so that's good enough for me. And I feel this is probably the best I've felt in about 8 months. So I guess that's a positive. And I'm just, like O'Neill said, I'm just happy to see all these faces again, man. It's been a while, so that's good enough for me.
Carlton Marshall down in Mobile. Let's talk a little bit about you and your career that you've had so far. Of course, freshman All-American 2 years ago. You were All-American last year on Pro Football Focus, which is Chris Collinsworth's outfit. Only man in the country, top 10 in tackles and tackles for loss last year individually. How are you right now, and what's the plan for the upcoming season, Carlton?
Oh, really? I'm doing great right now, just trying to stay in a routine, like Coach Lindsey said, working out, trying to not lose any muscle, and looking for this next year. I really just want us to, just come together and just make that next step in the conference championship, actually.
Get Coach to talk on this in just a little bit, but Coach Lindsey, you look at Carlton Marshall up front, you look at KJ Robertson up front, and you look at this guy, Will Choloh up front, who was all Sun Belt Conference last year. Will, I know that you're looking to build upon last year as well. Catch us up to date on you up in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Yes, sir. I'm just, Carlton said, just ready to take the next step. Not just me. I got a lot of expectations for myself, and he can come around. We all get together. Our goals.
Coach Lindsey, I know though, we mentioned some of those names on your defensive front. Those guys are critical, right?
Yeah, I tell you, these two guys that are on this call with us, they're the heart and soul of our defense for sure. They've just been great Trojans, what we call TKGs, Troy kind of guys, and done everything we've asked them to do. And, we had to address some needs in recruiting to get some help there, and I really believe we've done that. The 5 practices we had in the spring, I thought were really a positive sign. It was fun to see those guys fly around on defense again, and I'm excited about that unit. And these two guys right here will be definitely leaders of that side of the ball.
It's a deep wide receiver core as well. Luke Whittemore gives you a known commodity out there. Luke, how are you doing? How has spring been for you? How's the off season been in this crazy time?
Yeah, I mean, the off season was obviously different. Spring practice getting cut short, but I think as a group of receivers, we've continued to work. We got a lot of good guys in that core that are staying disciplined, that are continuing to put forth good effort. And yeah, we're, like the other guys have said, we're really excited about taking that next step as an offense, just as a team. So we're excited to get back on campus and see where everybody's at.
Yeah, whenever that may be, and let's hope it's soon. Our first question comes for Dylan Bradshaw, offensive lineman out of Enterprise. Welcome in, Dylan. The question is, in Enterprise, has it been easy or difficult to stay in shape? What's been your routine?
Well, it's been pretty easy just because, where I live, I'm 30 minutes from Troy. Me, Jake Andrews, and Grant Batts, and Coach Witt, and Coach Email, our two strength coaches, we constructed a squat rack outside over at Grant Batts and Gunnar Watson's house, and then made a bench and whatnot. So I've been up here more. That's the way to get your work in. But it's been a challenge. It's been different. I don't think we'll ever face anything like this again as far as my lifetime goes. But it's one we won't forget.
Question here to BJ Smith. Coming off of your injury, BJ, and again, 2 years ago, BJ Smith was first team All Sun Belt Conference, only player in Troy history to rush for at least 100 yards in every game. Last year, BJ, you had 2 games, and you got hurt. You were preseason conference player of the year. The question is, coming off of that injury, how much more difficult is this time away from the facilities in your rehab and to spend it away from your teammates?
I mean, it's been a little difficult, but at the same time, I've been able to manage it. And, with the help of our training staff and people around the program, I've been able to, manage it pretty well. I'm back and forth from Troy and Millbrook. And, when I'm in Troy, I'm doing therapy, working out and stuff like that. And even when I'm in Millbrook, I'm doing it on my own. So it hasn't been impossible, but it has been a challenge just like everything else. So, I've been able to manage it pretty well, I feel like.
Coach Lindsey, how has the setup been? I mean, they can't see Coach Witt. They can't see the conditioning staff. What's the setup there for these guys and for the team?
Yeah, it's been unique for sure. I mean, every situation's been different. Now, what I think our strength staff did, led by Coach Witt, Coach Email, is try to develop a plan that works for everybody, no matter where they are. And I think, like some of those guys have access to a bench or a squat rack or some, and some don't. So I think we've had to be very creative. And I think Coach Witt, who loves what he does, I mean, he takes a lot of pride in training our guys, we tried to just adapt to the times. I know he sent them things on how to make their own, weights, how to put certain things in sandbags and do all these creative things. And that's been good. And then some of the guys have had some access to some equipment. But, I think when it's all said and done, you're going to find out who's serious about being a really good football player and who's not when they get back. You're going to be able to tell who's worked and who hasn't. And hopefully everybody on our team has done that. I know the 5 guys on this call, I feel pretty strong that those guys have done everything they can do to get themselves ready for a great 2020.
Yeah, it's interesting because the people who have been the hard workers on campus are usually you can depend on them to be the hard workers off campus. Will Choloh over in Georgia checking in. Will, what's worked for you in terms of conditioning? What's been your approach?
Over here, they've closed the gym, so I've put a weight rack in my garage. I've been working out that way. I've been working out with my dog. Me and him, we try to run around the neighborhood as much as possible. Just little things here and there to stay in shape, so I can come back ready to go.
This question comes from the Zoom chat. Remember, you can do that at any time. Carlton, with your long list of accomplishments, Carlton Marshall, and we mentioned quite a few of them, What is next for you to accomplish individually?
Individually,
Yes, as aside from team goals, what do you focus on to accomplish yourself?
really just next year, like honestly, reaching my full potential. Of course, the questions on the table of trying to get another All-American, but I really that's a goal for me. But I'll usually focus on the team and not really what I can accomplish on my own.
I remember reading a story last year when towards the end of the season or near the end of the season, you told Coach Lindsey on the field, you said next year, you're going to be focused on being more of a leader. In your position, you got to know everybody's role, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, like being a middle linebacker, you're, like they say, quarterback of the defense. So you really have to make sure everything is lined up, make sure everybody gets to play. So I really have to step a little bit out of my comfort zone and be the more vocal leader out there instead of just leading by example. And I got some help out there too with Will Choloh. He's gonna help me out with that too. So he's like a vocal leader as well. So me and him, we can work together on that.
That leads to the next question from the media that has asked. They want Will and Carlton. What was the challenge to the defense heading into this season? We'll start with Will Choloh there. What's the big challenge for the defense this year?
I mean, I could really just speak for the D-line. Marcus Webb, he's gone on to the Seattle Seahawks. Travis Silo, he's graduated. Jarvis, AJ. So it's just about bringing in new guys, just ready to go. Try to get them ready for the Sun Belt competition. That's really the main goal I can speak of.
Carlton?
Really, I would say the main goal for us as a whole as a defense, everybody getting on the same page, as well as us working like every single day to get better and better. And just like us as a team getting our edge back. Have that little swagger about us. That, yes, we just get our edge back basically.
Coach Lindsey, he mentioned that Will mentioned it a moment ago. The NFL has given a chance to Trojans, Will Sunderland and Marcus Webb. Gosh, that's a source of pride, isn't it?
It is. Both those guys, very talented guys. I know Marcus played somewhat banged up last year. Will Sunderland, obviously, toward the end of the year. But it was really special. I think a lot of these guys, were around maybe on pro day when all of our guys came back around and performed. And obviously some, I think there'll be more. The coronavirus has kind of somewhat made it difficult for NFL business to go as normal. And I think there may be a guy or two more that gets an opportunity late from what I'm hearing. But, happy for Marcus and Will. Hopefully they'll take advantage of this opportunity. And, I think Will and Carlton both mentioned you guys mentioned earlier about those guys being more vocal and being leaders of our defense. Will and Carlton know how I feel about them, and I really thought they made strides in that department in those 5 practices, spring, the meetings, and all the different things we had. I know I heard them being more vocal. I think they're excited. They're now juniors in their minds, I guess. So it's time for them to take that next step, as I know BJ and Dylan, Will, and Luke as well on offense.
Now let's talk a little bit more about the offense. Question comes in to Luke Whittemore, new quarterback this season. Luke, what have you seen out of the guys competing, and how comfortable are you personally with them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's different with the quarterback change, and Caleb Barker did so much for us last year, but I think Dylan and BJ could both speak to this. I think we've seen a lot out of both guys, both Parker, Gunnar Watson, and then even Jacob Free as well. I think those guys did a really good job of competing in the spring. They came to play every day. So I'm confident, whoever we throw back there, I'm confident that they're going to make the throws they need to make. And as an offense, we're behind them. We're going to push them to be the best that they can be. So we're not looking to miss a stride in that category.
BJ, you feel the same way?
Yes, sir, totally. Just like Luke said, they all been doing a great job competing, and all 3 of them are good guys, funny guys. So when you're a good person, then you have potential as well to be a great player.
Coach Lindsey, does that compact the competition? I mean, somebody's going to have to take a step forward and have to take a step forward quick. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we missed 10 practices and a lot of reps there in spring ball, but so did everybody else. So I think it's all relative, just unique to us that we've got three guys kind of battling, you know, for this one spot. And they know, and we've talked in our meetings, even during this coronavirus stuff, that the guy that affects our team the best and leads our team and runs the offense is going to be the guy that plays. And all three are doing a great job of trying to prepare themselves. We'll go into fall camp. It'll be heated competition for sure, but I know they're all great teammates and they all want to be the starter. But at the end of the day, we'll have to make a decision sometime before we play.
Dylan, this is a good question from our buddy Justin McNelly. You lose Tristan Crowder, you lose J.L. Gaston, you lose Kirk Kelly and Bobby Clem, people like that. You've got Austin Stidham back. The question is to, again, Dylan Bradshaw, being the leader now in this offensive line, how do you adjust to this new role, especially with a new starting quarterback?
Well, you know, all those guys you mentioned with Kirk and JL and Tristan, you know, they were here with me the previous 4 years that I've been here. You know, they groomed me well and, you know, showed me how to be a leader. You know, in certain situations, I'm eager and excited for this role this year. You know, in my 5th year, it's something, you know, I've always looked forward to being able to do. And, you know, just like BJ and Luke said, you know, about the quarterbacks is, you know, all three of those guys, they're all confident. You know, I think the biggest thing with them is just making sure, you know, that they're comfortable in whatever situation they're put in. And you know, with me and BJ being seniors, you know, that's something that we have to take, you know, pride in doing. And, you know, all four of the guys that surround me this year on the offensive line, you know, they're going to be rock steady. You know, Austin Stidham, he's been steady for 2 years now. You know, guys like Jake Andrews, you know, Jordan Chapman is going to be huge. You know, coming in from JUCO, he came in and had 5 great spring practices. And then, you know, we got a battle going on at right tackle, but whichever guy takes over there is going to be great.
You love that kind of competition on the O-line, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's what we've tried to create. And like Dylan mentioned, you know, Jake Andrews has played a lot for us. And obviously he's even started a game or two. And so I think Jordan Chapman's a great addition. I would say Bubba Hudson had a really good 5 practices, and Tariq Bateman's a new kid we have in that, you know, I think it's going to be a good unit. Obviously, those guys have got to continue to grow and gel and play together, and that's kind of what happens during fall camp.
Let me ask this question. This comes from our Zoom chat, and I'm going to ask Will Choloh and Carlton Marshall about this. Semester scholastic grades, are you satisfied with your hard work in the classroom, or was it difficult, you know, having to go online right in the middle of it? You wanting to reset your goals to overcome any difficulties to perform better as a student? I can ask that to all of you. How did that transition go? Let's start with Will Choloh.
That transition to online classes, it was kind of tough at first. It's completely different. You know, at Troy, you got tutors, you got your teachers, you got people around you to help. But I really thank our academic staff for putting us in front of the right people to help us with our academic goals. Like, I know for me, I'm proud of what I did, and I know for the rest of them guys, they probably proud about what they did too.
Carlton Marshall, was it difficult middle of the semester to all of a sudden have to change track?
Oh, yes, for sure. You know, like Cholo said, you know, like changing from like regular class to online classes, it was a big change for us. So we really had to like lock in and stay focused. And, you know, that you can kind of bring that back to like on the field, you know, sudden change. So really had to just say, oh, well, and just go out there and do as best as we could.
What about you, BJ?
Yes, sir. I feel like I did pretty good. And, you know, just like what Carlton is how to, react. And I feel like we probably did it, you know what I'm saying, good as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Question here from Mike Hensley, Troy Messenger, to Luke Whittemore. He mentions this, and this is a good point. He says, you've made strides every year. For someone who has always excelled in spring practice over the years, How much are you missing that time on the field?
Yeah, I've definitely been, lucky enough to have some good spring practices and been able to play at a pretty high level, the past couple of years. But like Coach Lindsey said earlier, it's something that everybody's going through. It's not like we're the only team that's missing spring ball, and we actually got 5 practices in. A lot of schools didn't even have spring ball at all. So obviously we're going to miss that as a group. I'm going to miss it. I feel like it's a time for me where you don't really have a game, that upcoming week. So there's not necessarily that pressure, if you want to say that. It's just a time to really work on your craft. So I think it's a great time to work, and we'll miss it, but we gotta take it in stride, and just stay disciplined in this time when we're away.
What about that wide receiver room, Coach, with Luke and those guys? A lot of different skill sets, but a lot of talent there.
Yeah, we didn't lose one guy, so they're all back. Anybody that played for us last year and caught a ball for us is back, which is huge. I would like to say too, we didn't get to Luke. Luke did well in school. He had a 4.0, so that transition to online classes was really good for him. And I think overall we had just looking back, it's going to be one of the best semesters we had, and I think that is attributed to our academic staff and also our players who. We really tried to stay in contact with those guys every single day as coaches to just follow up, make sure they're on top of their stuff and so forth. But the wide receiver room, I think, is inside and outside. We've got some talented guys coming back, and I don't think they're going to, rest on their laurels, so to speak. And I think they're still very, very hungry. We want to win a Sun Belt championship. That's our goal. And to do that, we got to have everybody clicking in all 3 phases. And I know that group is excited to get back and get going.
Again, this is our virtual Trojan Talk. Great participation so far. It's all brought to you by Mama Goldberg's on the Square in Troy and by Santa Fe Cattle Company on Highway 231 in Troy. You mentioned, the goal is always to win a championship, to win a Sun Belt championship. Coach Lindsey, this question to you, not to be premature, but are you confident there will be a college football season? What's your message to people when they ask you that?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty confident that we're going to have a season, and whether it's altered or not, we don't really know yet. I think it's still too early to tell. I think I know with the Troy leadership, our administration, led by our chancellor, Dr. Hawkins, and all the powers that be are going to make the best decision that's safest for our students and our student athletes. But I do think there will be a season. What that looks like, I think, is still to be determined. And but I know that these guys, these student athletes who are in our program, I know they're looking forward to the day we can get back and get started. But I think it's going to be under some guidelines and probably a lot of new things that we've never encountered before. But we'll do whatever it takes to get back to as normal as possible.
B.J. Smith, again, 2 years ago, led the league in rushing at the end of the regular season, first team all Sun Belt Conference, missed the vast majority of last year. But BJ, I want to ask you about your running back room. DK Billingsley took advantage of it. People think, that BJ wasn't out there. He wasn't able to contribute, and that's tragic. That's a shame. But you were able to make a difference. How impressed were you with DK Billingsley, and what are you looking forward to? You're going to have some help in there in the backfield this year.
Oh, yes, sir, no doubt. I was really impressed, really. And I know a lot of people don't really, see it, or they didn't see it at the time. But I think Arch State, we were down to like 2 or 3 running backs. Right. And DK, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but I think he played like 78 snaps or something like that. And that was like, when you can get over playing like 50 snaps at running back, that's that's a lot to ask for. But he did it. He didn't complain at all. He didn't complain really none of the season. And that was really what was most impressive, and the way he took coaching, man. Because I know if you told DK he was gonna play that much last year, he probably would have just yeah, you funny. But he got through in that situation. He didn't panic. And I feel like looking from the outside looking in, he did awesome.
Coach Lindsey, BJ's right. You know, you go into that game with just a couple of running backs. Now you look at what you got to work with this year. It's got to feel like found money sometimes.
Yeah, it is. You know, from going to Akron with 2 running backs, and one of them we got out from delivering food the Sunday night before, who was a former walk-on here, who was still a student and all that. It feels good to have. I really believe that unit is one of the stronger units on our team. Obviously, BJ's a leader of that group, but DK, the playing time that he got last year was invaluable for him, and he's just a true Troy kind of guy. TKG, I really enjoy him, and he's just eager to do whatever it takes for our team. But you know, and then you look at Montez Woods, was a freshman before he got hurt. He got a few carries and then came back toward the end. That was invaluable for him. Charles Strong is a guy now that's sat out a year, ready to roll. And then, you know, we have a newcomer, Kamani Vidal, who I think has a really, really bright future here. And a kid from Marietta High School over in Georgia, enrolled early and got 5 practices in with us. So it's pretty cool to see him. So I think you'll see a lot of those guys, and I think you'll see all of them play. And in some combination, a lot of times both of them 2 guys will be on the field at the same time, 2 of that group.
A general question here from Justin McNally. Besides getting ready for the season, what have you guys, players and coaches, been doing to pass the time? Any new talents discovered? Start off here with Carlton Marshall. What's it been like just day-to-day regular life through all of this, Carl?
Really, you know, waking up every morning, you know, have a little workout, you know, may swim in the pool in the back, play a little ping pong as my brother. You know, really just trying to pass the time, you know, having the quarantine, not being around that many people. So just getting some family time in, and I really like it too.
Will Choloh, what about you?
Same thing as Carlton, just hang out with the loved ones, watch a lot of TV. That's really all you can do, and of course, get a workout in.
Dylan Bradshaw, we'll get the question to you as well. In Enterprise, Alabama, and you know, in and around that area, what has there been to do? How difficult or easy has all of this challenge been for you?
You know, it's just different, but you know, it's been nice to catch up with family. You know that we miss time with due to school and football, but you know, aside from working out and, you know, just trying to keep yourself busy, you know, I guess my hobby was I got the turkey on as much as I wanted to, you know. We had time off. I mean, it's tough, but you gotta face it. It's different, but you know, there's ways to get through it, you know, and we'll look up one day and this will all be over with.
Luke Whittemore, Gainesville, Florida. Do you miss all the guys? Do you miss all that away from football, all that time with your friends and with the fellas?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest things that, you know, quarantine's kind of taken away, just being able to be with the guys. But I definitely second what all these guys said. It's just been some really valuable time with family. You know, I have 3 younger brothers, and just getting to be home with them. I've really enjoyed that. It's been some valuable time with family, and yeah, I'm just trying to take advantage of it. You know, we're all facing this together, so you know, there's different things that we can do to kind of pass the time, and you know, I've just kind of tried to look at the bright side and enjoy it as most I can.
Coach Chip Lindsey, that brings up a point, and you've been through a lot of springs and at a lot of different levels with a lot of different players. Spring is really one of the most critical times to establish your team character and your team identity and you know, the relationships with each other. Am I right? That seems like that's something that's significant in terms of time lost, developing the camaraderie amongst the guys, right?
Yeah, I think so, because we brought in several new guys in January. And, you know, obviously last year, my first year, just being honest with you, I didn't know all the guys' names. And it was a tough spring getting to know them all, getting to know their personality. And really, after going through the season we went through last year, as we started in January, I think each of these players would tell you we kind of refocused and re-energized ourselves and tried to define what we want our team to be and the kids that are on our team and what we want them to stand for and how we want to approach things and how we want to approach our daily work as far as commitment to excellence and commitment to doing what they're asked to do. Obviously, these 5 guys don't have any issues with that, and slowly but surely, our team is going to be full of guys just like this. And I think that's going to be really imperative to our success as we move forward. But the spring, it was a neat going through the January and February winter workouts with our team. That really helped, I think, define what this team's going to look like. We did get to experience that. Practice is great. It's important. It's spread out. You have every other day. So it's not as taxing on the players, but that winter conditioning stuff that we did out on the field at 6 a.m. every day and challenging these guys and pushing them, I think that did as much for our team. And hopefully with the leadership that a lot of them on this call with us today, that'll carry over into fall or whenever we get started back this summer. But I think you're definitely going to see a team that has got a little more edge about them, like Carlton mentioned earlier, and a little more focus on what's important.
To preview the next question, the season starts September 5th at home against Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then UMass on the road, North Carolina State coming to Troy, and then down to South Alabama to play on a Saturday. That's October 3rd. Then Texas State, ULM, Georgia State, Arkansas State in Jonesboro. You go to Georgia Southern, you got Coastal Carolina, go to Knoxville to play Tennessee, then to Appalachian State to close out the regular year. Here's the question to Coach Lindsey from Tim. He said, I know we take the season one game at a time, but as soon as the full schedule was released, you could definitely see that this season, according to Tim, falls into part 1 and part 2. How do you keep the team focused when a schedule falls this way for you, Coach Lindsey?
Well, I think that's when you rely on older players who have played and been through this Sun Belt schedule, that we have before us. I think the Sun Belt, I was on a call all morning this morning with Sun Belt head coaches and administration and different these bowl representatives and all these different people that come in. And one of the things that kept coming up was the strength of our conference and how much parity now is in our league. Mm-hmm. When I was here the first time in 2010, it was basically Troy and at that time, I think FIU was decent one year, but it was basically us and two other teams maybe. Now the league top to bottom is very, very solid. Good coaches, better recruiting, good players, more commitment to facilities, more commitment to recruiting and doing the things to get players. So I think our team will be mature enough to take our schedule and understand one game at a time, one day at a time. I think this team is going to be a lot more mature, a lot more motivated than maybe we were at times last year. That's not any knock at anyone. It was a transition for a lot of us, but I am excited about these guys and seeing them in these leadership positions, and I think that's going to help us navigate an always tough Sun Belt schedule.
We'll close with 2 things here. First of all, to all of our fans, not only here on this Zoom call, but also, the fans who have been so supportive of each of you during your careers to this point and who are looking forward to the fall. Is there a message to them? I want to put Carlton Marshall on the spot here. You got a chance to address the fans and to kind of give some perspective on how much they mean to this program, how much they mean to you, and looking forward to the fall.
Really, our fans they're one of the biggest parts of this game that really makes this game exciting for me. I know not just for me, but just for any team like in the NCAA. I know the fans, they really give that extra spunk to the team, the extra energy, just seeing everybody in the stands and they're coming to see you perform. So that's just an amazing feeling to just look up and you see that many people and just there cheering you on. So it feels really, really good to have them around. We're so appreciative of them.
Coach Lindsey, does that resonate with you, that message?
Oh, for sure. Our fans are special. I mean, we're always in the lead the league in attendance, and nothing like the vet on a Saturday afternoon, and it's full and rocking. And I think those are things these players that they appreciate. I know motivates them and really helps us when we're recruiting is talking about our fan base and and how special they are, and obviously I know they're excited about our season as well.
Well, Coach Lindsey, I know that being a collegiate head coach, is all about answering all the questions. You've got questions every week and questions every day, but I know that you feel really confident that some of the things, the most known commodities about your program are amongst these five guys that are here today: B.J. Smith, Carlton Marshall, Will Choloh, Dylan Bradshaw, Luke Whittemore. These are good men to go into a season with, Coach.
Oh, for sure. I'm extremely proud of all five of these guys. They are exactly what we're looking for when we go out and recruit and try to get guys to come in. All of them have their own personalities, but they're all extremely competitive, as we all are, and just got a lot of confidence in how these guys will represent and lead our team this year.
Well, we mentioned them, BJ and Carlton and Will and Dylan and Luke from Alabama and Georgia and Florida. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time out to visit with everybody. It's been a pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it.